but they weren't. They were, but where we had 22s, they had 30-06.
Oh, yeah, that was
And,
like men versus boys.
you know, so they came. We had gone out. My friend of mine, Dean, and I, we were hiking up the beach
Mm-hmm.
north of Juneau, and I was in a hurry so I knocked on the door and I went in, and here this new teacher was halfway to the bathroom, stark naked. She's not expecting callers,
Oh my.
and I dropped the whole box of groceries. And said, "Oh, excuse me," and I fled. Next day, my chemistry teacher, she said, "Well, Casanova," I think she wrote in one of my following, school book.
Uh-huh.
Casanova.
Casanova.
Well, here we go again, Casanova. We didn't go again. I never went again in there. I did, but I knocked on the door, and then she said, "Come in." I left. She didn't say anything. Then I went in and put the groceries where they belong. Nobody stole in that town. Speak of.
Yeah, and I lived up in Evergreen, Colorado, and we had in the mountains, just
Oh.
outside of Denver, 8,000 feet.
Mhm.
And we never locked our doors. Nobody locked their doors.
No.
Yeah, we just didn't have to worry about it.
I wonder. I don't think that. I wonder if they still find that, because it was a whole different age.
Yeah.
I really liked that town.
It might be a good place to retire to. I don't know. Do you think?
Well, it depends on your health quite a bit, because it can get cold up in those mountains, and it can come on you very suddenly. It can be dangerous. We learned how to deal with that, but there was a millionaire in town when I was working with the Seattle Urban League, and he'd made his millions in skis, building skis, and he loved to fish too. And he had a seaplane, nice little seaplane. And so he got done. He said, "Man, I found a stream up there where the rainbow trout are about 20 inches long at least, and longer." And I said, I was just talking. I said, "That's nice." He said, "You like to fish, don't you?" And I said, "Well, yes, I fish." He said, I'll take you fishing with me sometime." Well, he didn't for quite a long time. Then one day he remembered it. He said, "My God, I promised you that a long time ago, didn't I?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, tell you what," he said, "tomorrow we go fishing." So that morning he came by. I wasn't even going to go. He came by and he said, "Come on, Johnson." Well, hell, the guy was, he was pretty powerful in the town. So I said, "Well, okay." So we fly up into the mountains and hit this lake, beautiful little lake, with a creek coming in one end, and that, man, they usually come around. You get there where you fish in that water and come down and you catch some fish. And so I had caught two already, nice trout. And all of a sudden, one little cloud drifts across the sky, and this guy goes into panic. He says, "Come on, Jim, come on. The weather's changing. We got to go back." I only had two fish. Hell, I could catch that many and more fishing out of Juneau. But we went back to town, and I thought to myself, because he had all the equipment on, for navigation and what have you. I thought, this man will never kill himself flying. Well, a number of years later, there was a I think it was Chinese, Chinese, and he remembered that little episode,
Mm-hmm.
and so did I. But I never asked to go fishing with him again. And I think once he called, and I gave him an excuse because I didn't care much for him anyway. But Dean and I were hiking up the road. We had our 22s with us, you know, and here come down the beach come the out of town gang.
Out of town.
They were lower income than we were a little bit, maybe more, just a little bit. And here they come down the beach with the damn 30-06s, and that's good hunting for deer and bear if you need it, if you have to have it. I mean, in other words, they're attacking you. You don't shoot a bear just for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really a place to live and learn.
But they never gave you any trouble, huh?
Beg pardon?
The out of town gang never gave you any trouble?
No, we were all
Okay.
friends. But they knew Mendenhall Glacier, all around the Mendenhall Glacier, and two of their friends, twins, drowned swimming out in front of Mendenhall Glacier.
Mm-hmm.
And they, we really took note of that and didn't swim. The water was cold. You dove into that water, and brother, the shock hit you because it was
Yeah, you just
just
freeze
off
up.
the damned ice, practically. But it was just a damn good school to give you an education too, especially in math and physics. Now that was the best teacher I ever had,
Uh-huh.
and what it did, in the ninth grade, we decided that we'd just stay together, and we went all instead of just business administration, all these kinds of things in high school. We had math, physics, and chemistry. And brother, those were tougher courses by a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she could teach it. So when we came out of there, we had good educations. It got me kicked out of the Air Corps, I think, because they decided that they'd be nice to have a few engineers
Uh-huh.
to beef up the safety factors better. John Tanaka was our valedictorian and a good friend of all of ours, and he could get the problem if we couldn't.
Uh-huh.
They're that much smarter than we were. Although in the end, we pretty well caught up with him, because you go over that 2 or 3 times and you're going to remember a lot of it. And so here I had all the things that they liked in engineering students. And I got washed out of the Air Corps because I wanted to fly, and I had my application in, and I had 10 hours of flight training already, and I got let out. And I said, "What's the matter?" They gave me some very weak excuse, which now I appreciate for it, and I'm glad they did it,
Uh-huh.
because an awful lot of our warplanes were getting shot down there.
Yeah.
But not, I think that really, it got later on is when it got really rough.
Mm.